Hey, grade 7, I have been in canoes. That is huge. I can't go anymore. Okay. Are we done with the hot dog?
Here he is, one half of the team, Donnie and Dolly on Czech Television, 10 to noon on weekdays, except when Taylor and Henderson quits and call it a snow day. It's Canucks Insider.
Wow, shots fired.
Rick Dhaliwal. How you doing, Ricky? I know you would have driven in on, was it Tuesday?
Hold it a second. Mm-hmm. It was, I couldn't get out of my driveway. The truck, I couldn't get out. And then I've got Henderson calling me, and Henderson and I called the shot right there.
Oh.
We couldn't come in. I couldn't get out of the driveway.
Put me on East and O's. I was sure it was a Don Taylor and more, the moat is frozen, but it was a Rick Dhaliwal. Okay.
You guys don't live in the burbs, so you have a big advantage. Donnie and I do, Henderson does. And I go back as people. I always tell people I was up in Fort St. John. I lived a year in Edmonton, so I know cold. Like minus 20 is nothing to me. Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing about small towns and radio stations is we always used to walk to the station. Like my apartment was a block away from the radio station, both in Edmonton and in Fort St. John. So it's a big difference when, now you got to drive in and I was looking at an hour and a half to get in easily, maybe even close to 2 hours. Mm-hmm. But it was just a decision made early in the morning and you know what? And we're looking at the same stuff tonight too, right? So it's been a pretty scary week, I think, for everybody, guys.
So tomorrow you may be postponed as well. Is that what I'm hearing here?
We'll suck it up.
Ryan preemptively likes to just defeatism and call it a day. That's the one thing I learned about working with Henderson at 10:40.
Henderson is
how quick he was to call snow day preemptively.
Wow, he's as soft as a tissue. He's soft as a tissue.
Yeah,
he's soft as 2-ply. He's soft as 2-ply. Even 3-ply. But anyways, he's soft. I'll gut it out. I'll be here tomorrow. You mark my words.
Attaboy. Beautiful sweater, incidentally.
It looks good.
I wish they'd give you a monitor so you could see us, because Blake and I are decked out as well. We got our Christmas
I don't mind seeing you. I have no issues with I'm okay with not seeing Price. But anyways, look at my sweater. It's a bear, a big polar bear right in the middle. A beautiful Christmas sweater.
Holiday roster freezes on, Ricky, until next week, but there was some reporting on Tyler Myers this week with Darren Dreger, who says there are teams that are interested, teams with better structure. Going to be interesting to see where that file goes as we approach the March 3rd trade deadline. What are you hearing on Tyler Myers?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm hearing is J.P. Barry, his agent, was on our show last week, and he said that, Tyler likes Vancouver. Tyler doesn't want to leave Vancouver. JP, I'm not going to lie to you. JP said to us, since the day that Tyler Myers arrived in Vancouver, he said, you guys have been trying to trade him. So since the day he arrived, JP says it to me all the time. You guys have been trying to move this guy since the day he arrived. But I will say this about Tyler Myers. He does have a limited no trade. He does have a big bonus coming up in the offseason, I think $5 million, which will leave only $1 million of real money left. Once that bonus is paid of $5 million, guys, he'll be very easily tradable. Right now, it's what's the biggest issue, guys, in the NHL is teams with cap space. Go ask yourself why Brock Boeser's not done. Teams just don't, and teams want money in, money out deals, but they're tough right now, money in, money out deals. And, I know we're talking about Tyler Myers, but quickly on Brock Boeser, I've been told it's really quiet now, and because of two reasons. One is because obviously it's a big contract to move, and the team that acquires him is got to have the cap space. And the other thing is Brock is stuck at 4 goals. Since the story broke that a couple of weeks ago, he's only scored 1 goal. And I think in his past 4 games, he hasn't scored. If he gets on a heater, like I told you guys before, he'll help facilitate that trade. But I think the Canucks and I think everybody, the teams that want to acquire Brock, would like to see him start filling the net with the puck. Myers, again, it's going to be tough. He's got a no trade. And JP told us, remember that rumor that Ottawa was after Myers, and he said no, and JP said that is inaccurate. He did not shoot down a trade to Ottawa. And so, look, his name's going to be out there, but his name is going to be out there with a lot of guys. I was told, a few days ago, look, here's what we're looking at before the trade deadline, guys. Okay, are you ready for this? This is going to be a whopper of an 8-9 weeks coming up in Vancouver. Bo Horvat, okay, Luke Schenn, Brock Boeser, Tyler Myers, Kyle Burroughs is a UFA. We haven't talked about him yet. Andrei Kuzmenko, you got to cut a deal with him. And, I'm going to throw this one out at you guys, too. Aidan McDonough, is he going to re-sign with the Canucks, or is he going to become a UFA? I believe in my heart at some point in the near future, the Vancouver Canucks are probably going to, call McDonough and his advisor and say, hey, guys, they're going to ask the big left winger at Northeastern, hey, guys, look, if you look at Abbotsford and the cupboard is bare, we know that. Aidan McDonough is a guy that the Vancouver Canucks would surely love to have back. I think it's safe to say they were disappointed when he didn't sign last year, and I think that but here's the thing I'm going to look at when I look at Aidan McDonough, as he makes his choice whether to sign in Vancouver, and I haven't heard that he doesn't want to. His best friend is Jack Rathbone, and I'm sure that, he's looking at Rathbone, and that's what McDonough and his camp have got to look at, is how are the Canucks treating their prospects, and what is the vision and the plan that the Canucks can tell that they have for Aidan McDonough.
Rick, do you think they're demoting these guys down to the farm for performance reasons? Do they honestly think that the guys that they have up here are better than Nils Höglander or better than Vasily Podkolzin?
All I can tell you is this. The coach isn't playing these guys. So the management is saying, look, if the coach isn't – so you don't think Höglander, you don't think Podkolzin and Rathbone, you think their agents are doing cartwheels right now? They're not. But it's a classic case. If the coach isn't going to play him in Vancouver, they got to get him some ice, right? All I can tell you is those three don't have the confidence of the head coach in Vancouver. So the Canucks management has to get them ice time.
We're getting disconnects again from Bruce Boudreau with the Ethan Bear scratch as well. It almost seems like Bruce Boudreau is tempting them a little bit here by going rogue.
The only thing I'll say to you on that, Blake, Bruce Boudreau is fighting for his job. Bruce Boudreau's, how is he not icing the lineup that he thinks he's going to win? Look, I think it's common sense. All of us know that at some point it's going to be known that Bruce ain't coming back next year. But here's the thing that I said to Don on the show, if Bruce wants to continue to coach in the NHL after Vancouver, he's got to be, I wouldn't say on best behavior, but he's got to show those teams that might potentially get him next year that, look, even though I know his situation is not great for me in Vancouver, I tried my best to win every game. I coached as hard as I could and the best as I could. I don't think he has time to play mind games with management. He's a coach that, if he wants to, after this year, I would be trying to coach my ass off and win every game to show other teams that might potentially get you next year that I'm still, trying hard despite dire circumstances.
Ricky, on Horvat, I've heard Elliot Friedman say that he believes that Camp Horvat is willing to take offers but is not going to counter, is not going to initiate offers. Do you anticipate it? Do you think that's true? And do you anticipate that will change between now and March 3rd? Or do you think it is solely incumbent on the Vancouver Canucks to present another offer, if they're willing, to Bo Horvat, and that'll be that? Do you see any negotiating between now and March 3rd with Bo?
It's a great question, Matt. I was told that the Canucks offer, the last one, they went above and beyond the Call of Duty in terms of earlier this year, they weren't at that number, and even the number they offered would put them over the cap for next year and after this season. Look, I was told earlier this week I don't expect, and as of now, because the one thing we learned with JT Miller is that, hey, we all thought it was not going to happen, and then it happened. I was just told earlier this week that as of now, the person that told me doesn't think that there'll be any more offers. And think about it. What offer can they possibly ask? What offer can they possibly make tomorrow or in 2 weeks or 4 weeks that could potentially be any better than the one they made 4 weeks ago, right? And the other thing is now they're looking, and I fully expect after December 28th and in January, the phone's going to start heating up for Bo. We're going to be what are we going to be, 8 weeks, guys, in January from the trade deadline?
Yep.
And I just think that as of now, the Canucks are in the mode to see what they can get the best for him and, go from there. But again, and we've said it, and we all learned a hard lesson with Miller, but my intel this week, as of now, tells me that they're going to be getting ready for the best offers that they can possibly get.
What if the January games, you talk about Boeser maybe getting hot, would help his stock. Let's say Boeser does get hot. Let's say Bo Horvat continues to score. Yeah. And that helps the Vancouver Canucks, and they stay in it up until February the 1st. Yeah. What are you thinking is the likelihood that they still try to pull off those trades in February with them close on February the 1st?
Yeah, that's an interesting one for sure, because I know everyone's going to say the owner is going to want the playoff dates and keep the team intact, right? That's what you're getting at, Blake, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and just the competitive, nature of the management too.
Well, and again, I just talked to you about a coach that is, fighting for every game and every victory to keep his job, right? So he's going to ice, and I get what you're saying, but here's the thing, you got Horvat, UFA, Kuzmenko, UFA, Luke Schenn, UFA, Kyle Burroughs, UFA. Blake, what can you do? If you hang on to those four, it's going to be Toffoli, Tanev, and Markstrom all over again, is it not?
Well, you got to trade everybody, honestly.
Yeah.
But I just don't I don't have the confidence they will, though, Rick, is my point.
And hold it a second. It was Toffoli, Tanev, Markstrom, and don't forget our good friend in
Troy
Richmond.
From Richmond.
Stetcher.
Yes.
Troy from Richmond, right? So you had four guys walk. And, although it was Stetcher, it wasn't a UFA walk. They didn't qualify him, right, guys? So that's what it was there with him. But look, everything you hear now is the Canucks are open to discussions after the freeze, and let's see which way it goes. Kuzmenko, they're going to have to get to him, guys, and figure out. They're going to have to get to him and figure out with his agent, Dan Milstein, just what are you thinking, Dan? Although Kuzmenko's quiet in the last couple of games, he hasn't accumulated much in terms of offense. He's been quietened up in the last week. But these are all decisions coming down the pike, Blake, in the next 8 weeks. It's going to be, and as a national guy told me yesterday, the next 8 weeks after starting January 1st week is going to be fascinating. Just a fascinating 8 weeks in Vancouver. Yeah. Hey, I want to talk about Kyle Burroughs.
Yes, Langley's Kyle Burroughs. Let's get to him, Rick. Well done.
Okay, so I was told earlier this week, not many calls on him yet, but if you get a decent draft pick for him, you got to take it, right? Same thing as Tyler Mott last year, right? So I was told the Canucks would have interest in re-signing Burroughs on July 1st, just like Luke Schenn, if capital letters, if they move him. They like Kyle Burroughs, and they don't like playing him on his off wing. They think it's unfair to him, and you got to give him credit. You love the utility players that can play both sides. They don't like playing him on his offside. Kyle Burroughs is well liked in the dressing room. He's well liked by the coaching staff, management, everybody in the organization, just like Luke Schenn. There's no question about it. They love the person, the character, the team player, the whole 9 yards. So I you know what? You get a draft pick for him, you got to take it. But I was told that just like Luke Schenn, if you do move Kyle Burroughs, there would be interest in probably taking a run at him in the summer again.
Buddy, that wraps it for us today, and that wraps it for us in 2022. Ricky, thank you so much for being a part of Sekeres and Price. We still look forward to our weekly hits with you. Thank you for changing from Friday to Thursday today. You are free to have yourself a Crown Royal holiday, Rick, because
it's done.
It is time. It is your day,
put the Crown in eggnog?
My bro.
No, I'm not stupid. Put it in eggnog. Who the hell puts stuff in eggnog? How dumb is that? Why? Rick Ball told me. You know what? Rick Ball told me. Rick Ball told me that his dad used to tell him, there is no better combo for Crown Royal than just Crown and ice, and that is it. That is it. No need for stupid stuff like eggnog. Why? Why, Blake or Matt? Why go there with that stupidity?
Ricky,
anyways, Yep.
I was at a holiday party a couple weeks ago. They had all sorts of selections out there for spirits. I saw that ice tray. I went, you know what? Crown over ice sounds fantastic right now.
That is the best. I want to say something. I want to wish both of you Merry Christmas. And I also love what you guys are doing, Donnie and myself and Ryan. And you know what? Our industries, we've taken some big hits in the last few years. Keep plugging away, doing what you do. And we're going to keep trying our best here to keep plugging away. And you know what? Hard work. Do it for the listeners, the viewers, the watchers, the sponsors, everybody, as we try to navigate ourselves through a tough climate for our industry. We're trying our best. We're trying to be local. I know what you guys pride yourselves in is local, so do Donnie and I and Ryan. We love local. Local's very important. One more little tidbit, please let me get in. Mm-hmm. Every day I drive by the Children's Hospital, and it's very dear to me. There's a lot of bad things in the world, but the worst thing in the world is a sick child. And if you can give this Christmas time to the Children's Hospital, I drive by every day, and there's nothing worse than a sick child. I see those kids, and I see their parents going through a very tough time at Christmas, and I wish all those kids they can go home, be with their families, and be 100% healthy. So just keep the kids at the Children's Hospital in your thoughts.
Well said, Rick. Too. Yeah. Thank you for this. We'll talk in 2023. Be well.
All right, guys.